One Gaming KIA versus FAV. See you in a moment. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to APAC North. That was quick, and it's DWG KIA versus FAV Gaming, our very first matchup in a big Korea versus Japan game, as we'll have very many of them in APAC North, which I always love to see the contrast between the two regions. Hap and Ace are on the desk for this one, and let's talk about points and stories and stats, because there's a lot that has to do with this game and all the ones for today's Playday.
There really is, and I mean, this game, this Playday, it's my favourite time of year, Milosh. It's all about the stats, it's all about the numbers, it's all about the points and standings. And today, let me tell you, almost anything can happen. FAV and T1 can't make it, that can't happen. But other than that, anything can happen, and there's a little bit of me that wants to see 4 teams finish on 10 points today and just go into that mixer. So exciting. But looking at this game specifically, DWG versus FAV, you're asking me, Ace, what do DWG need to do? They need to win 3 points. Nothing less will satisfy them.
I think nothing less will be enough either. If they would be getting the OT win, that would be putting them on 9 points. That's difficult with Fnatic still coming up and Talent. Like, one of those two will be getting a point. So they need the full 3 points if they want to have an opportunity of making it. Otherwise, it might be over and out for them. So it is a very heavy matchup here.
See, we all usually want to go to OT games and see what happens in there, but overtime today is a killer.
I don't want overtime for this one. Nah, that would make the whole day less exciting.
Basically, for most of these games. Yeah, it's just not a good time for these squads. So let's see what they can do. They need to show that APAC North is best in all of APAC. Okay, that's kind of the bragging rights that we're in for those playoffs. So let's talk about our rosters first of all. FAV Gaming, our Japanese squad that has been very iffy throughout this season. We always expect a lot of them, but they're not really having the greatest of seasons, at least in the stage start.
No. They also seem to have Trey Jaeger main, so there's a lot of role swapping going about right there. But the thing that you need to know right here is that FAV is one of the 2 teams today that unfortunately is no longer going to be able to make it into the top 4. Now, that might relieve some of the pressure off them, because all they will be playing for is the 3 points for the end of the year, all put together, stage 1, 2, and 3, to potentially avoid relegation. So for them, the points will still be important. There we go. Okay, I was going to say it just will still be important, but just not for the playoffs here today. So they play for different stakes, as that damn one will be playing, which is probably very important to note.
Look at those numbers. Unfortunately, not having the greatest of times, and it's mostly against some of the tougher teams in the league. That was game 2 versus Fnatic of the entire season, and they went to overtime. FAV able to collect a couple points from it, but that was in the era of Fnatic not able to close games. I hope that is over. We'll have to see later on today. Their opponents, though, DWG Gaming, KIA, Ace. This team actually comes in and surprises everybody with some pretty decent performance, and they're 3 points away, or even 2 points away from breaking the top 4.
The mystery of APAC North remains DWG Gaming KIA to me, because as you say, they've come in with some great performances, and then we've seen them have some pretty bad ones like last week as well. So there is work to be done for this roster, but work that can be done. And I honestly think we need to look at DWG KIA in the same sort of fashion that we're looking at T1. New org coming in, work to be done, growth to be found. And they are doing that. Yes, so far, gone fantastically from beginning to end of the stage. We've got to say that 1.36 rating, one of the highest number of kills, if not the highest, in the entire league at this point in time. Doing fantastically well, backed up by 2 great players, Woogieman, Courted. They've been coming in on the flex roles, really doing a great job. Now, Rin has also been a real surprise at times, having some absolutely huge moments, coming in with big surprise 3Ks, and this is an exciting team to watch, and I love every time we see them get inside of the server. The big question, of course, is can they do it today? Can they beat FAV and get themselves up into those playoff spots? They will still have to rely on results from others, but they have to do their own part. And by doing their own part, they'll apply pressure to those other games, to the teams like Fnatic and Talon. They'll know that the heat is on and that Damwon are breathing down their neck. We can see all their games there. If we look at the round performance, the fact that those bars are nice and small, nice and tight, it shows that they've majoritively been very close games within 2 or 3 rounds, apart from Cyclops, which got away from them a little bit, it's fair to say. But for me, Damwon are one of, if not the most exciting teams to watch inside of APAC North at the minute, because you just never know what you're going to get.
That's very true. I didn't know I was getting the ace monologue about Damwon, and honestly, I enjoyed every single moment of it because, yes, they are still untested, and yet still with that, you see 6th place, but 6th place just means you're 2 points away from breaking top 4. This is how close it is. The OT rule has really changed things. So let's go with our head-to-head, try to get back on schedule for this one. Who are the 2 players? Which team that you guys selected? It's Coated, the Goated, and Typon. Wonderful haircuts in their own rights, but what are they bringing in the server app?
Well, you know, the roles might be a little bit different right there, but look at Typon, look at the opening kills that he's able to bring for the likes of FAV. He has been consistently able to open up the round count, and we all know how important these entry kills can be. I believe the statistic, but Ace might be able to tell me more about that. Overall, always has been about 68%. On actually converting the round as well if he goes untraded. So Typon, true and big impact for the team.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you're right there about the overall. Yep, we're usually looking at about 68, 70%. If I bring up the stats for FAV quickly, I can tell you, you know, they're just above that. So getting the opening kills is big for them. That's an area that Coated has done well in as well. I've taken to calling him non-stick Coated because he just seems to get in these difficult situations and he always just manages to sort of slip out of them. The bullets just don't seem to stick to him. He seems to just have some sort of field around him that protects him, and he gets the clutches, he gets in and out of those big moments safely, and for that reason nothing sticks to him.
He's a well-seasoned cast iron.
Oh, I like piece. It
honestly. Ace, you know what, we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about etymology one day because there's a lot of things I still have to learn from you. That said, which map will we be playing on as even the next match timer is going down to an hour. FAV Gaming taking us to Villa. That's where they will go with Damwon. And honestly, do you get the attacking start? I'm not sure how comfortable FAV will be on this one, but what do the numbers say, Hap? Because you look focused on this.
I was quickly checking because I didn't remember them playing at this stage, and they didn't. So
saving it for last G2 strategy.
They're saving it for the last day, for when it's not really helping them anymore, potentially making it to the playoffs, you know. But I don't know. I'm not feeling too confident here for FAV, just basically depending on how their last 2 playdays have been going against Guts and Cloud9. I mean, their attacks are good. Their defense is a little bit less. So I guess if you're starting out on the attack, there might be a win, but
Damwon have played it 3 times. They've played it in half of the playdays so far. They've won it twice and they've lost it once. So they've been strong on the defense. They've got 60% and 65% win rates, both in AVG and Trophy and Statuary. So Damwon are a difficult team to beat here. But the one thing that might be able to help FAV spoil the party is there's a lot of odd footage there. So they should be well prepared.
Well, we'll see how they do in this one. You know, some people just want to watch the world burn, and it's understandable to pull it out in the very final day. Maybe FAV can survive on Villa, but until then, we're going to prepare ourselves for our very first game of our final Playday in APAC North to see who can qualify through in the top 4 and actually show up for APAC North in the playoffs for the region. Let's toss it to our casters. It's just a 2 for Game 1, Damwon Gaming Kia versus FAV Gaming. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milos. Let's get this Playday started with a bang, Jess. It's going to be a spicy one. We've already said in the pre-show that all 4 games today could have a really profound impact on the top 4. Who goes through to playoffs? Who gets those juicy SI points? And, of course, prize winnings. No games today isn't important, and I'm glad that we're starting off with one where Damwon can really spice things up from the off.
Look at that social vote as well. The Japanese fans coming in strong, but sometimes the social vote doesn't necessarily reflect what the statistics say. And well, Damwon KIA are coming in favorites today, just out of recent performance and how FAV hasn't really been able to step up to the plate. And I know you love number 2 on the side of FAV. I've been a bit of a Damwon KIA fan since the relegations. So I think it's, a Jess versus Des kind of to see who wins here. But for me, overall, I do have to say that if the viewers are wondering who might win, it's probably Damwon KIA.
I definitely put it down to Damwon taking this game as well. And not at all that they've been like, a significantly better team. They are only 2 points ahead of FAV overall, I'd say. But when you look at the results, the kind of games they've had, the performance that they put up against Cloud9 on this map, at least in the first half, really impressive. FAV inconsistency has been the kind of theme for the season in my mind. So I'm coming in today with a bit of nervous trepidation kind of brewing through my mind as to, can they really get anything today? And if they do, it doesn't have really any impact. It's more of kind of a pride thing to say, look, it's been a rocky stage, but we can at least get something. But Jess, talk to me about these bans, the Thatcher and the Nomad so far. What are we saying for Villa?
I mean, this is the usual default bans, especially for Damwon KIA. Kaid ban coming out for FAV. And, well, I can't really look to anything other than last year for FAV to go, okay, what do they usually ban on these particular maps? Mostly the Nomad and Monty on attack. But if you look over towards defense, you go, okay, they usually get rid of the Clash. And if not the Clash, they'll get rid of the Kaid. So that's default. And that mirror is the most banned operator on this map by Damwon KIA by far. So all of these operators are default bans for the teams outside of the shield bans. So everything looking normal here for both of these teams.
If anyone said to me, oh yeah, well the map we're playing on is Clubhouse, I'd be like, okay, the Nomad ban's a bit questionable, but the Thatcher and the Kai makes sense. But I'm still kind of racking my brains a bit to think, well, why the Kai and the Thatcher pairing here? Because on Clubhouse, we know it's because there are 3 hatches when attacking on the downstairs that without the Thatcher available, make it quite tough to get through them all. Not really enough for a Maverick to be able to get through all 3, for example. Why do you think here specifically that Kai ban's gone away? Is there some particular area you think on these sites that could be an absolute nightmare to deal with that justifies the ban?
Look, I know that there's a lot of teams that really like to deploy those electric claws triple wall over towards Statue. That's a popular area to use them. I know that a lot of people like them over towards that AV/bar wall. Those ones they want to keep closed for as long as possible. I mean, overall, I think there's a little bit of an inclination that it's easier when a Thatcher is banned to use Kaid over any other operator. Forces people to go below, forces people to throw grenades over, whatever it might be. But something I have to point out right now is the biggest ban on this map by FAV since like October of last year when they have managed to play it, which hasn't been recent, has been Clash. Guess who's bringing the Clash? Katsang. This will inevitably cause a delay for FAV, who are already pretty wishy-washy on their attack.
Yeah, and pair that in with something like the Echo that we have seen run rampant this season. So many people saying, oh, well, they're not invisible anymore. Echo's not going to be that effective. Joke's on you. Apparently incredibly more effective now. I think if we can actually compare the number of disrupts that we've had of plants this season on Echo drones compared to all of last year, I wouldn't be too far off saying that we've probably seen more in stage 1 of 2021 than all of 2020 combined. Admittedly, Echo was disabled for most of 2020, so go figure.
I was gonna say that's gonna be a hard one to compare, but I absolutely would agree. There's a lot more emphasis on the Echo than there ever was. I would like, if medics can hear us, can we just see whether or not Rin's doing the default red stairs hold, or whether they're putting a brand new emphasis over towards main stairs? Nope, it's all gone, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. You might have prepared for Damwon KIA, but guess what? They're prepared for you by not doing any default hot breach. Hello?
No. They didn't expect that inside 40 seconds for Shin to be in 90 and gunning down Rin as he came running back up towards 90. And you were right, we've seen Rin playing on those red stairs, 3K, 4K, you name it. But here in this round, a bit of adaptation, quite late, admittedly. Already going beyond the round start to start moving those ADSs over, and they are punished for it. Good start for FAV.
Oh, they keep pinging the Clash. They want someone to be able to, you know, knock back his shield. The only person that can do it is Afro. He has 1 concussion, and he says, guess what? Let me just run up and shoot people instead.
Oh, no.
They're going to be able to do the shield knockback, and goodbye, sleep tight. And I cannot believe, I think we're about to get a flawless round from FAV here. EUD reigns out. It's Woogie Man left. He's been the clutch man here for Damwon Kia. He puts good numbers on the board in a 1vx situation, but I really think that this is going to be an incredible mountain for him to climb here, Des. And as they come raining in, shooting everywhere around him, he will be the last man to fall for Damwon Kia. And even though they adapted correctly that round, they were overrun out of pure randomized gun skill. Hello, Fav. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I think as soon as they lost Rin providing cover on main stairs, you had the Clash basically playing alone and isolated, and that's when Fav said, right, pin him in. We've got main stairs control. We've got city control. He's boxed in. You cannot escape from this. And one thing to really note that I've seen probably not go so well for a lot of teams in the last few weeks, the Lions still having that EE1D scan available when it was a 1 versus 5 was wild. Because a lot of teams burned those quite early on when pushing into the building, rather than thinking about an execute. I don't really want to call that an execute onto site. It was an execute onto the mute, the last player left standing. He was not going to survive that no matter what.
Oh, that's an exciting round to watch. When you get into the last Playday of the season, you want to see exciting rounds. For FAV, this doesn't matter. For Damwon Kia, this matters a lot. So for me, for FAV, they could just go wild, go crazy, do crazy stuff like hop bridges, run upstairs 3 people and just absolutely demolish a player. I don't care what you do. But it turns out that that might be Damwon Kia's weakness here. It's just randomized, crazy, unexpected aggression. And I am living for it. Mind you, something I did want to point out, Typhon had a huge round that round. Afro was, I would say, one of the biggest impact killers over towards main stairs. But Typhon, he's the 2nd highest rated in his team, just behind Shin. And I think that it's nice that FAV have some good gunners, putting some good statistics on the board. I think it's consistency down on the support end that has failed them this season.
Oh, well, let's see how round number 2 goes. We normally say give teams 2 or 3 rounds to warm into things, to get a real feel for what's going on that day. And that was one of those rounds that kind of felt like dominoes were just falling over one after the other for Damwon Kia. So we'll give it another round, see how things square up now we're on trophy and statuary. Guarantee you're going to see Rim being a little more cautious about those kind of, again, post-setup ADS rotates. But a very popular hold that we've seen pretty much all this season is the one that you're seeing Yas sat behind now. We have seen wars waged over this shield on the master bedroom doorway all season long, and I don't expect this one's going to be too much different.
Oh no, that one didn't land on the wall as intended. Not again, ladies and gentlemen. Hop bridge your way on in, and it's not going to be to the crazy effect that it was before right next to site. It's going to be just underneath bathroom, because what they want is Katsang from Damwon Kia below with the C4. Katsang always plays this position below. So if you're wondering why he is barricaded in below playing solo, he does this every single game. Fav know this. Why? Because there's a plethora of VODs out there of Damwon Kia doing the exact same strategy every single day. The reason he's there, the reason they're droning him out is if he C4s an important operator who's trying to get the wall open, it's all over for the attackers. So they need to dispatch him in quickly.
Maverick as well, knowing that he has to be in melee range, of course, to make use of that blowtorch to get reinforced walls open is going to be the big kind of question mark that sits behind this. And yes, you probably say, Des, but there are Selmas. Why need to worry about getting close? Problem is, there's quite a bit to open when you're thinking about pushing in here, especially on the downstairs, as they'd already burnt one of those Selmas to get pantry opened up, to start putting the pressure onto Katsang and forcing him back. You got to start thinking, well, what else needs opening up here as they start coming through for the push? They're still going for the drones here as well. Bearing in mind, Jess, about 90 seconds burnt here and clearing out the downstairs. That's a good roam from Katsang. And you might say he didn't get a single kill, fine, but he's still wasted a good 100 seconds at the start of this round and got himself back to his team safely.
He's also going to be the pin, like the linchpin for those stairs over towards Astro. You can tell that that's where Shin wants to make his ingress up towards. And I think the problem will be is that they've spent so much time on Katsang, they let him get away. That's why you got to cut the rotates. The moment you find out where he is, boom, open bicycle window. Open another bit of area where you can cut his rotates so he can't get out of kitchen. They let him get out. E1D rains out. And guess what? There are so many flashes to follow. And this is going to be an easy kill for Shin as he makes that ingress I previously mentioned.
Curious with the pistol out as well, but finds a kill regardless. Who cares what gun it is as long as the enemy team are dying as a result. 3 versus 5. I was going to say 3 versus 4. Sorry, it's very quickly burned down into a 2 versus 2 with Woogie on the deck. I doubt he gets recovered. Rim went big. Finally gets traded back out. A 1 versus 2 for Yas, and it looks like the fortunes for down 1 are going from a bit of bad to worse here. Down 2 rounds potentially. Who knows? We'll see if we can come up with a big clutch. We've seen some plays from him this season. Yas has had some incredible games, but FAV are going for the plan. Pushes in Trophy and K-Razor narrowly misses it, finally connects the kill. The smoke comes out and it's well placed. It does do quite a bit of damage, but now Woogie's got it all to do. One smoke canister left and in a post plant. Oh my God, is it going to be tough for him? Jess swings out instead now towards Statuary. Where can he push through? Where are the enemy team? Is no doubt the questions racing through him and his team's mind. One was in bathroom, one is below, about to come up red stairs. I think no matter what he tries to do here, he knows that he's in a very tough spot. Afro, a few warning shots, backs out towards Astro. Woogie's completely lost. He's got to try and stick this right now. The round is done, but dare I say, Jess, this one should be done. There we go.
What a shame for DWG KIA, for all of the people who are sitting there going, wow, they're absolutely getting stomped here. That round wasn't anywhere near a stomp like round one was. So it's a closer one, and you got to give DWG KIA that. The big downside here, and the reason that I think this is a worry for DWG KIA, statistically, they are very defensive-sided on this map. And they've played a lot of it. DWG KIA played a lot of Villa, as, you know, the analysts alluded to. They like Villa, but they are still a defensive-sided team. And so if you are losing sides of the map that predominantly give you most of your rounds, and these are rounds that are going to put you into the top four, I don't know about this one. They better have like some of the best attacking rounds ever so they can recollect these rounds, or they need to win the next 3 in a row to be able to get themselves at least a leg up in the first half where they usually do.
Oh, whatever FAV are pulling out so far has been working wonders. For most teams, you'd say walking out the first half of Villa when you're on the attack with 2 rounds would be a blessing, and, you know, one that you'll take quite gladly. Well, here they've still got 4 more rounds to play with. How they played so far, something tells me the fortunes of DWG KIA are probably not going to go magically better and get them 4 rounds in a row. I would be kind of surprised to see it settle at a 4-2. A 3-3 may be feeling a bit more realistic if DWG can balance themselves out. Where I will give them a little bit of, not so much credit, but kind of historical evidence, is against Cloud9. They did lose a couple of their early defensive rounds. The first one, admittedly, to a team kill. The second one to a kind of domino effect like we saw in round number 1 of this exact match. They did then start to turn things around. It did get a little bit better, and then on the attack, they could do nothing against the side of Cloud9. So give a bit of breathing room. I know I keep on saying it. It's been a couple of rounds. They have been quite dominant for FAV. I'm still trusting that DWG could pull this one back together, as we've seen them do so many times this season.
It looks like Rin was setting up a little bit of red stairs. Banshee went to the bottom of red, and I'm not sure whether or not they are expecting FAV to change it up now that FAV's already done. And yes, they are. Just considering those placements as a whole, I can guarantee you that they think that they're going to do a bedroom side push and swipe all the way over. Looking where Shin's going in now, maybe, but I still think that there's a split emphasis here from DWG KIA, and I don't like that because they're getting overrun by gun skill alone. You're better off having numbers towards someone like Yas, for example, so you can at least get the trade, and that might, you know, hurt them here as DWG has split themselves between red and main stairs, and pretty much all of the utility is split in those exact positions.
Still got Yas up here, and you can hear those magnets being caught out as breaching rounds are burnt in towards the stairs. And Afro, as he vaults out, gets challenged from Master Bedroom by Rim, but sadly, no kill to come through for either side. But Afro did indeed come out far worse in that trade, as you would expect, down to about 20 HP. The opening kill for FAV once again coming through, though. It is looking rough for DWG as they're about to almost lose Coated as well, but does manage to keep himself alive temporarily, but in a spot here where the pressure is starting to increase. Grenades from below. You've got Typon looking to push his way up 90. Everything is just starting to come together on site already, so much so that most members of DWG have just said, yep, peace out, we're done. You've only got Coated sat inside one room and Rin inside the other.
Damn, Yas has made his way out of sight as well. It's like they want to do a little bit of damage. They want to be able to recollect that down member of Woogie Man. And yes, they finally do. It's Rin to take out the big hitter of Typon. That was the biggest fragger of FAV so far, the one that's been having the most opening impact as well. And I think for the total numbers that you're looking at and a whole 60 seconds left to play with, this is dangerous. Katsang needs to get a kill over towards 90 to keep that power position control. And Rin is just continuously aggressing onto that study door. I think Katsang's in the power position now, and with Rin going down, I don't think FAV knows, so they could be picked back up. But the big thing now is when you got 45 seconds left, the big person for me is Katsang. Watch out for him, because depending where the push comes from, he will be the person that stops it.
Oof, well, Rim being quite aggressive in the challenging, admittedly, I get it. You want to stop them getting control of studies. We know that's such a crucial location when you want to try and look for a plan, but maybe a little over aggressive at points even, and did start to pay the price. back on their feet now at the very least. 3 versus 4. FAV with still a numbers control until that C4 comes out and they lose the next gunfight. That should have been a freebie, Katsang, but Shin wins it out. They're starting to think about going for the plan. They know that one is in around the bar area, but he loses that gunfight as well. Things are falling apart for Damwon after it looks so good for the longest time. Rin has got a hero play to pull off here. They're both so low. A simple spray could have been enough, but sadly with no angle through the wall, this is going to be a post plan to play out here and nothing to be done. FAV 3 rounds on the bounce, and it is going from bad to worse, like I keep on saying, for Damwon KIA, Jess.
Oh, FAV look like a completely different team. I mean, the ferocity, the speed, the anguish that they are laying all over Damwon KIA now is unbelievable. And what's even more unbelievable, if you're a stats person like I can be sometimes, FAV have only ever won 31% of their attacking rounds on this map. That is so incredibly low, like compared to usual statistics, which sit between 40 and 60% depending on the team. That is incredibly low. If you look at how defensive sided they are way more defensive sided than Damwon KIA on Villa, to the point of 73% of their wins come on the defense rather than on their attack. So for them to be doing so well on a side that they usually put up poor results, they have changed something up. And maybe it's because they've got nothing to lose. This team's just playing like, hey, let it free, let it run.
I think the painful thing is seeing Damwon miss so many crucial 1v1 shots as well, where you feel like all things being equal, they collected a kill or two back to the other side. FAV kind of have the wind taken out of their sails. But in that round, we saw on screen, thank you very much for it, by the way, Medics, 2 1v1s they were taking and 2 1v1s that they lost. Highly unfortunate, but FAV have definitely woken up on the right side of the bed today. And to make matters worse, I think for Damwon coming into this round, look at number 2, bringing along the Ying, an operator that we have seen periodically banned away and even less periodically brought along and actually played by teams. I think the last time I saw a team really effectively try and make use of it was Secret when trying to push into through Trophy in towards site on Oregon to try and go for a plant against BDS. It just kind of feels one of those operators that teams occasionally have an idea for, but normally the time it can ever be employed, it's then banned away by the other side, quite coincidentally, if that's the way you can describe it.
Well, there's not a player on the side of FAV that I can even say anything negative about right now. They are all having impact in some way, shape, or form, and most of it is coming down to gunfights. Speaking of gunfights, number 2 says the way we can get main stairs quicker than ever is if we cook those magnets, we cook those ADSs. I toss up a couple of candelas. They won't be expecting it. They're actually going to use smokes to be able to cook out one of them, and well, it looks like they're just going to continually toss them out. Try and smoke, try and abate any of the players pushing on up, and it's Boogeyman's job this time to hold the main stairs. And the reason I say that, with the SMG short range, it's going to rip through a player, but even better is the shotgun at his disposal as well. And that's why they're trying to just delay a little bit of time, because they've been losing players early in each of these rounds, and that's what you need to, avoid.
This is what I'm quite enjoying seeing here, is how much time they can waste. Sure, they're still burning out. Oh, you heard the magnet and the ADS go off at the same time for the same projectile there.
Hello?
2 in 1, and somehow Typon has just walked his way into main stairs and picked up a kill for free onto Woogie. This is what keeps on happening. This main stairs hold is as fragile as paper. They walk through it, punch a hole through it, and suddenly South control is theirs. That trend has continued into a 4 versus 3. And already, FAV are in the lead once again. Damwon on the back foot, and we still have 90 seconds to play.
Oh, that was such an important kill from Yaz there, coming sneaking out of that game's door, takes out Typon with a headshot, because Typon's been doing major damage. And it's not that he's been doing anything insane, Des. It's just he goes, oh, you're distracted? I'm going to go in and kill you now. And that's all it has taken to get main stairs control sometimes. Think about it. None of those candelas really even went off. Did they actually have an effect other than distraction? Not really. Katsang in a good position to flank up those exact main stairs that they've just lost. Problem is, he doesn't hear Shin run in, and he is disposed of ever so quickly. And if you ask me, FAV see a problem, and they just do whatever kind of adaptation they can to deal with it, whether it's a flank, whether it's a main stairs control. FAV they look unstoppable.
They're used to the verticals. We spoke about number 2 and his grenades earlier on when he was playing on the Maverick. Now it's about the play from below, just looking to kind of chip people out as they come rotating down. Oh, they both line up for Rin, and that's a triple kill out of nowhere. Not able to take the trade shot, and now it's number 2 in a 1 versus 2. Quite appropriate number to be against here, but this could be a round for Damwon to come back from the only shining light for this team. It has been Rin time and time again, and although Yas collects that final kill, you could put so much of that down to the gunfight being won by Rin in the 1 versus 2 on Aviator Doorway.
Every time we see Rin play on Villa, we see them either aggressively peeking study door. This time they had a line of sight open on the right-hand wall of Aviator over towards study door. So there was so many opportunities, so many lines of sight open up for Ren, who is an aggressive Jaeger player. There's no doubt about it. Unless, of course, you see them on red stairs, then yes, as the weeks have surpassed, they've learned how to hold it without peeking too much. But that door, whether they're on trophy site, whether they're holding Aviator side, they will peek that door 9 times out of 10, pre-fire everything. How they're left with any ammunition at the end of the round is beyond me, I'll be honest. The pre-fires are unbelievable, but sometimes that works. Sometimes it makes people think about going in, and sometimes people challenge it and lose out. That's what that round was. And I don't know about you, Des, but I think this game has come down to just gunfights. And even though there's so much utility being used, I just don't think that's the problem, or rather that's the win condition. I think the win condition is you either hit my head or I hit yours, and that's how this is going to go down.
I mean, dare I say, in a way, it's kind of the fundamentals that Siege is built on, where you have the kind of defensive setups, you have the kind of utility mini games that exist in the early round, and then it's once we've kind of expunged anything that can impede us in the gunfight, that can tilt what would normally be, or mathematically should be, a 50-50 gunfight becomes a 60-40 in the attacker's favor, or the defender's favor, or whatever you want to call it. Even chipping away a bit of HP can really change that around. The rounds are coming down to who's hitting shots, and more often than not, it has been FAV. But Rin, again, has been the one shining light, I think, for DWG KIA so far. Yes, the kills in previous rounds haven't been as impactful as in the previous one, but look across the scoreboard on the side of DWG. 0 kills Woogie, 0 kills Katsang as a roaming player, by the way, and only 1 kill for Goated, the player we've described as Goated so often. It is a 2-man army right now on the side of DWG against a team on FAV who, outside of maybe K-Razor and number 2, who are playing the more supportive roles, everyone's hitting their shots.
Well, we'll get another opportunity to see whether or not this bottom 4 take onto the C4 player below, instead of taking the what do you keep saying, Rooney? I don't know why I keep saying Rooney. Malusi, there we go. I got there eventually. Instead of taking the Malusi below with the C4, this time the Valkyrie cams will be the key for that intel that they think that they're missing. I don't think that's the problem. I think just putting a C4 player below and not really having anyone to trade out has been the problem. Katsang says, well, rather than me starting there where they expect me to start, how about I go a little bit lower? How about I hit the level below and then flank up when they're in there and they're unsuspecting?
Must be the most unused area of Siege, I think. The basement on Villa, every now and then you see a team making use of it. And I distinctly remember in stage 2 of last year, a team that had a full-on push through basement. They had 4 or 5 of them pushing through there together. We had the Nook and a couple of players from EU making use of it as well on the attacking side. It is very limited in use, but when teams kind of find a play that works for them, it can be hyper effective. Again, just kind of very much relying on the element of surprise than it is on being like a very popular or common strategy.
Speaking of the element of surprise or an effective strategy, I still think that this time wasted by Katsang, who was rotated down, he was laying in basement, as you saw before. I believe he is still there, and they are aware that he should be nearby. The problem is he's wasting so much time, and that's a problem here for the attackers. Rin, what a shot on the sheer. Woogiemin was there last time, hasn't been able to get a kill, as you rightly pointed out. So instead, why don't you put the person that's hitting shots on the shield? That's Rin at the moment, and guess what? They keep adding to the tally.
Absolutely, and I'm just thinking what damage can Katsang cause here. We spoke about the 100 seconds wasted previously. Here it's not really wasting time because FAV have been doing the work around him, but if he can strike here at the right time as they start looking to rotate for the execute, and I think that's what he's waiting for, is the push towards Astro stairs, as you would come to expect. He finds a kill here onto, I don't know, Taipon carrying the diffuser. Suddenly this round is flipped upside down completely, but Taipon is inside a bathroom. They're already on the top floor. This is where we're going to see him strike. It's going to be Shin pushing his way up Astro, and they strike big. A second, a third comes out from Yas as well. A 5 versus 1 for K-Razor, and that bathroom push got shut down completely inside of Astro. DWG starting to swing this half back in their favor, close it out with a flawless round.
I love that flawless round. I love, because sometimes a team can come in hyper aggressive on doing unexpected things. A hot breach in a 90 window. When's the last time you've seen a player actively do that as a serious strategy? I cannot even tell you in any region that I've even specialized in that has happened. Only thing I can think of is that FAV have come in and gone, let's just be aggressive, got nothing to lose, let's play it all out, give it a good hot shot. DWG KIA have now, after a couple of rounds of this random crazy aggression, have gone, okay, We're losing our gunfights. What can we do? Let's move some people around. Let's change key positions. Do the same thing we usually do, but just put Rin in the position to be able to hit shots that they've already been hitting. Let's move Woogie Man back, put them on cans. Let's make sure that Katsang isn't playing in predictable positions. All of these chess pieces slowly moving around the table, or rather the chessboard, as you would call it. I don't even know what you would even call that. I don't even play chess. Yeah, chessboard. Yeah, good. But as you move these pieces around the board, my problem for FAV is that they're expecting one thing, and Damwon Kia have worked out if you just slightly move things, the time delay is enough to just put things in their favor.
I'm looking at this round now, and we of course haven't been downstairs yet because the rounds that were lost by Damwon Kia earlier on meant that we weren't going to ever play the downstairs. It looked like we were constantly going between Aviator and Trophy and Statuary. But as they have now managed to finally piece together 2 defensive rounds, 4 and 5 back-to-back, it does mean we head to the downstairs. So we get to see a bit of a different flavor. And what did I speak about in the last round, Jess? I spoke about the crawling through basement as a Nook. What do we see in number 2 bringing along here? It's going to be a Nook on side. Quite a change for both teams, mind you, because the IQ from Shin's coming along. You've got the 3C4 setup coming from the Pulse and the Bandit on the side of Damwon. With no Maverick on side, some walls here may very well stay closed. There we go with the strike. It's Woogie going down. 0 and 5 on a more supportive role. Not look good so far, Jess.
That was not even his fault either. I feel so bad for Woogie Man, caught out on the rotate down below. That is unbelievable. Just one of those windows, and Katsang no. Oh my God, they're already in Memorial here. This rush, or half-baked rush, I don't know, maybe half the team's rushing, half the team's not. It is put down Kia on the back foot. Look at them. They are panicking. They're trying to open up lines of sight. They're doing their absolute best. And now that Shin's caught out in a really precarious position, he will finally go down. He was by himself. No one was there to trade. And I called it a half-baked rush because, let's be honest, Shin was the only one there.
Yeah, very much was. Yeah, and you had him then sat inside a Memorial in a very kind of power position, I guess you could call it, very early in the round, inside 40 seconds. I think they were looking to kind of capitalize on the chaos early on of having Woogie removed. And I guess quite critically for FAV, they hit a point of reset here. They're in a 4 versus 3. You've lost your IQ. Nothing really of value being lost to you when you look at the lineup that's left on the side of Damwon. What have they got? A Bandit who's a breath away from death, the Malusi who is now out of impacts, and you've got Rin, who of course doesn't have any of those C4s. They're out of options here, really, Damwon. They are considerably at a massive disadvantage in this round. FAV should be looking at this and saying, man, with this much time, if we lose this, we are throwing.
It's an opportunity for them to have 2 rounds buffer in the first half, and that's a big one. Yes, aggressive, move on up. You can make this happen because guess what? Number 2 only privy to it when he moves on up. Good headshot there, and well, as you said, it's only coded with a breath of life, and Rin left. I think Rin can really make a play here and get themselves on the, the replay reel for today. If they can get a clutch out, it's going to be a 1v4. About to say 2v4, but Coda gets dispatched of, and with 64 seconds left, this is going to have to be the play of the year here for Rin, who's going to have to put up a lot of numbers very quickly.
Oh, I just ran straight into a concussion as well. The exact moment someone pushed in. Honestly, yes, it would have been beautiful to see a 60-second clip on Twitter later of you saying this is going to be the play of the year, only for it to turn into a 1 versus 4, but sadly not to be. Downstairs side clearly needed a run or 2 before it was going to be super effective for the defensive side. We hit the halfway mark though. 4 and 2 to FAV on the attacking side of Villa. Not a bad outcome. Now we get to see if they can replicate that on the defensive side. But to give a little bit of credit to Damwon, we did see that flawless round coming through from them in round number 5. They have looked good in a couple of rounds, consistently good, where they didn't really rely on Rin doing something special. Maybe not, but maybe here now we switch sides. We've seen players completely transform once we come the halfway mark sometimes. I'm riding on that.
Well, this half, I think, is going to be a very, very tricky one for Damwon Kia. We said they're highly defensive-sided. Well, guess who's even more defensive-sided? FAV on this map. The fact that they've taken 4 attacking rounds on a map that they are the most defensive-sided on is incredible. They should run away with this map, unfortunately. And considering the performance we saw last week, Damwon Kia against CAG, Ace and I rightly said they looked scared. They didn't look like the Damwon Kia we knew them in weeks previous. They didn't look like the team that I had touted being one of the best teams coming out of the relegations. Didn't look like the same team. Today, it looks like they are, not that they're playing bad, they're just being run off their feet by unexpected, crazy aggression, things that there's no way you could prep for that. There's no way you could prep for the FAV that's come in today. This has not been done by FAV before. So for anyone to think that Damwon Kia haven't done their research, you can't research this.
I think it will always raise questions, mind you, of how 2 or 3 rounds in a row an attacking team can take control of main stairs so easily with very little effort. Like the third time round, as we saw, Typon just walked and took Woogie out and was like, oh, well, I guess we've got main stairs control now. One of the other rounds, Rin tried to rotate up 90, got killed, admittedly by the unpredictable. A player hop reaching into 90 and then turning to get the kill at the bottom of 90 was a bit of a wild one. It does feel like a few things are being thrown at down one here by FAV that is perhaps more than they've ever dealt with before. I'm not saying ever dealt with, but more things they're not used to dealing with commonly.
Oh, 30 seconds have elapsed in this round, and if you're looking over towards the attackers of Down 1 KIA on their first attacking round, my question is, what is going to be their part and parcel of this round? And in that, I mean, where do they want to make their first power position? Looks like main stairs, and you got a Mute Jammer, you got a Banshee, 1 or 2 ADSs will persist there, and they have the Wamai as well, so I'm wondering whether or not there's some magnets painted around. They'll confirm that, and yes, there are on the back of the wall there, and as they start to cook things out, start popping through more of that, Rim will get the initial kill on Shin, who tried to make a little bit of impact below. It's going to be all up to K-Razor, and unfortunately not a good season so far, Des. And,
no.
Oh, well, makes the difference.
You say that and bringing down one of the best players, and a second C4 sings over the wall from number 2 to bring down another. But Coated stepping up, his second kill in the whole match so far onto Afro. Could be a critical one, but gets swung by number 2, who finds his second in this round. Where does number 3 and number 4 come in? One has to ask, because there are 2 members left on the other side. 2 versus 2, Jess, and there are 90 seconds left in the round. APAC attack, well, they all love attacking each other very early in these rounds.
This is what I love to see from FAV. If you bring in that aggression and you do so in uninspected fashion, in a way that Down 1 KIA doesn't have time to be able to respond to, you are going to take the advantage 9 times out of 10. Look at the attackers now. They've split themselves up a little bit. They want to try and have a bit of a pinch push possibly, and maybe that's why you can see them looking at the verticals. They need to get that diffuser first, and that's exactly what Woogie Man's going to do. I believe the pinch push is what they're looking for. Hopefully the rotate comes in, because it's going to be very difficult for them to do the push that they're looking for here, I think.
Where is Typon's on site? I saw it at the C4 and I thought, surely they're sending him downstairs at this point with no knowledge of where the attackers are. But nope, they are both indeed holding on site. There is still a frag grenade. There is still a smoke grenade. There are still pieces of utility to play around here for either side. You've even still got full 5 hard breach canisters left for Woogie. And I can't imagine you want to start opening a wall this late in the round. It's going to come down to kind of good old duos here, 2 versus 2, to see who walks away the winner. Grenade comes singing through, not going to connect onto anyone, but will definitely give some indication to the defenders of where this push is looking to come from. Only 20 seconds left as well, Jess. This is where Down 1 KIA need to get moving, and they're looking for a plant. But the C4, Typon, he's got it in hand. Surely they hear this plant going down. The C4's out. It's ripped. It's going to be let go. It's going to land in an almost perfect spot. Too short. Here comes number 2 with a huge frag. We asked where number 3 and number 4 was going to come in. There's your answer. A huge round for FAV, and they move up to 5 and 2.
I didn't expect number 2 to commit to that game's door, wrap around a 90, then hit the landing, and that was a really good read on the situation. To leave your player alone inside is a risk, because what if they overwhelm side, get the kill, plant bar? Then you're in a 1v2 situation. That becomes tricky. That's a retake that is hard to achieve, but really well read there. And you can see them all sitting there smiling, and they damn well should be. They've had a rough season, Des. They've absolutely had a rough season. That is without a doubt. To come into a game here and steal away Down 1 KIA's chance of making top 4, mind you, the analysts did rightfully say that it would depend on how the other games went, whether Down 1 KIA would walk into those top 4 or not. Doesn't matter, because how this game is looking now, it's looking like Down 1 KIA, they're just trying to pull out rounds, let alone a win.
Oh, well, hero plays in the odd rounds never going to be said no to, and we saw a couple from Rin earlier on. This time it was number 2's turn to step up in round number 7. As mentioned, that leaves them at 5 and 2. It's going to require a pretty heroic effort for Down 1 to swing this one back, because let's not forget that coming in today we were saying, think about the potential impacts this has, that we could have 10 teams sat on 10 points, all in a tiebreak for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place. It was going to be wild. And if FAV walk away here, they can't make it into the top 4, I don't believe, unless absolute madness kicks off, which I'm pretty sure it's not going to. We're in a spot where Down 1 have just lost the opportunity to make top 4 in no doubt what will go down as an unexpected result today. In fact, have you got chat open? What was the prediction looking like for this game?
You mean the Twitch prediction?
I want to see what people actually put in, points on. That's what I'm most curious about.
So 66% voted in favor of Damwon Kia, whilst only 34% in favor of FAV. So
that sounds a lot more accurate than the social vote, to be fair. That's the kind of thing I would have expected, that there was quite a lean towards Damwon. Yeah, if you're a Damwon fan, it's going to be painful, doubly so if you put points on them with the way this game is going. But let's give them a shot of redemption here. There are still rounds to play, at least 2 more for FAV to have to overcome or win to get themselves over the finish line. And for Damwon, looking back at this result as a 7-2 would be a painful memory to reflect on once the season is concluded.
Especially if there was an opportunity today, once the further games go on, that they could have made top 4 if they had have won this game. That is going to be crippling. I mean, they're going to be sitting there if they do, lose this match going, okay, I hope that the others win their matches so that it won't matter that we lost this map because we wouldn't have made top 4 anyway. But no team wants to think that way. No team wants to go, oh, thank God, at least this. You want to win every game on the board. And what's going on?
We are not on a dining and kitchen. We are on living library.
Yeah,
seen that for a while.
Why not? As again, I've got to state this again. FAV feel they have nothing to lose in this game, and if you go to an offside, you bring your crazy randomized aggression. This can really pay off.
Well, if it works out for them, all the more power to them. In fact, the team that I first remember really watching in NAL playing on this map was TSM, playing on the site, sorry. And they had everything opened up downstairs. They had rotations out towards Art, looking up into red. Kind of like what Coach has done here, actually, going into Art Studio, but then also one looking up red. But they managed to get themselves in a spot where a plant's coming in. Yas holding close. The C4's missed. It's on top of the bookcase. They recover another. C4 does come out and it connects. However, a team kill comes out. That's not the kind of kill you want. Number 2, it doesn't count. 2 kills swing in for Damwon Kia. It's down into a 3 versus 1, and Typon has got it all to do. They just didn't really seem aware of what was coming across from the Art Studio side of things, and they've managed to sneak a plant away. You say FAV have got the chance to play around with this one. They may come back to rue this kind of round if things don't work out, but I have full belief that they did come into this with a plan, just sadly not one that has worked out for them. The attackers looking a bit too comfortable here. Damwon will give themselves another lifeline and be able to step through into round number 9, start at a 5 and 3. And there we go with Kota collecting that fine one out, I imagine, now as we go back upstairs to Trophy and Statuary.
The biggest downfall there was Damwon Kia rightfully worked out. Piano walls aren't reinforced, and guess what else isn't reinforced? The default plant area of that site. That's when I was like, hang on. This isn't reinforced. Are they just breaching this? They did a double breach from Piano in, and that gave them a long line of sight. They got in on the corner and planted. Guess what? There was not enough main stairs pressure, not enough crossfires accrued, and if their entire plan was to throw a C4 over the bookshelf, that's not going to hit that plant right up against that wall anyway, so it wouldn't have been a viable strategy to be able to deny the plant. Good to see that particular site being played. We want more statistics, or rather playings of it, to show us exactly how teams want to play it. I mean, I love to see it. It was a bit of a fast one, though. Didn't really give me much of an indication as to how you could, add extra strategies to that site. But a very tactical 6-pick there. The ace to the ace. They'll never know what hit them. As a result, now, Damwon Kia. Cat saying probably the worst game he's had as well so far.
I know you're a big fan of 6-pick, Jess. They used a 6-pick, so can you really fault them? Maybe an ace to ace, but it was still leveraged as a feature. Play to null and void. No, but
yeah, I was just like, what can I say?
You said about the pressure coming from main stairs. We saw number 2 there with the biggest freebie of his life. I think it was Yas, who wasn't even looking at him on the other side. And number 2 whiffs the shots to connect the kill onto Yas as they came pushing in. A real shame, but if that kill had gone through, that could have been a very different story because they would have still had main stairs pressure. And we keep on touching on individual gunfights being a big influence in these rounds. That's one of them. You look back at that and say, man, I missed such a crucial shot that could have transformed that round. Unfortunate, but let's talk about Trophy and Statuary, Jess. We're seeing that Frost come through. We've had a right fun time talking about Frost this stage so far, haven't we?
You know what I also love is that they've kind of taken what Damwon Kia did on their strategy and opened up that left panel of the triple wall. And they've gone, well, you guys do a line of sight. We're actually just going to make an entire rotate. We're literally just going to open that up for you, and if you try and step in the closet, we can see you. If you try and come in a bathroom, there's a double frost mat. If you get frost matted, we'll be able to shoot you from inside of sight. I mean, for me, it's just incredible how they've just given up that wall. It's a great setup because you see in the closet. That's why, there you go. Thank you very much, medics. And it gives you a great angle, and it's something I first saw from Damwon Kia weeks and weeks ago. Now teams are just like, yo, this strategy is fire. I'm going to put it in my particular strategy. I'm going to work with it. And how do you go up against it when you yourself know it is as powerful as it is?
to Honeypot as well with this triple wall, just being like, oh, look, we've opened the wall for you. Come in, come in. There are about 4 angles waiting for you to come stepping in. And they're yeeting out the Selmas to burn through it, and they have managed to deal with it quite comfortably. Admittedly, on the other side, there being no Wamai, there's no worry about magnets. It's a pretty simple one to burn through, knowing there can be a max of 3 ADSs present. But they haven't destroyed the ADSs. You just heard one reactivate in your ears a second ago. I always fear when I hear that sort of thing. Is it going to come back to bite them when there's a crucial bit of utility like an impact or a concussion that's meant to come singing through?
Well, number 2 got that exact kill onto the window hop inside a closet that we spoke about before. That was a freebie Woogie Man, who's unfortunately almost dropping the 007 and luckily got an assist in the pocket there. So not going to be one of those memes to talk about in the later days. Goes down early. That is the Maverick. That's one of the crucial operators they needed to get the wall open. And I believe there's still mute jammers on the wall, so he would have assisted even though he is now out of commission. And it looks like they're just playing gunfights here over in Bathroom. I mean, why is the ace walking and trying to get this kill? And oh no, well done.
Too easy, so easy. Now you've got to challenge
flank of the flank.
Do they know the flanking of the flank? It's not going to happen. Rin's a bit too aware. So fool me once is simply not going to happen. 2 kills being found, and once again Rin is having a huge impact in these rounds. 2 kills swinging through. Yas collects a third, and like that, Fav's defense that started out as a 5 versus 4 has fallen very quickly into a 4 versus 2, Jess.
Well, I think number 2 and Shin, they're going to be looking to make big hero plays. Number 2 had the opening kill, and surely they want more, but guess who wants even more than that? It's Yas and Katsang. And I say this was Katsang's worst game so far throughout this entire season. Slowly redeeming himself, but I tell you what, that is off the back of some really good reads into situations. I think when FAV used distraction methods in the first half against DWG KIA have gone, you can do that, but we can do it better. And that's why you saw those smokes coming out onto the Astro stairs. You know, Rin rightfully using that as the perfect distraction method. Mind you, you can't hear footsteps 90% of the time when the smoke is being popped. That's a perfect opportunity to run up behind someone. Then, of course, reading into the fact that they themselves were being flanked. What a beautiful round there from DWG KIA, showing that although they aren't statistically inclined towards attack on this map, they can attack.
Oh, man. I mean, 2 rounds ago, I'd have sat here and said 5 and 2. Fav have just won. They're stepping through to what looks like a cozy victory. DWG has swung 2 rounds back. Again, off a big play coming out of Rin and Italy. And we said in round number 8 when we were on Living and Library, is this one of those rounds that you look back on and go, probably shouldn't have played that one. Is it going to sting? If they win Aviator games here and go 6 and 4, okay, maybe you get a bit of forgiveness. You lose here and it goes 5 and 5, man, it is going to sting.
I'll be interested to see how FAV play this particular site. And the reason I say interested is because DWG KIA had to change the walls that they opened up or closed twice just to deal with the aggression from study that was being implemented by FAV. They're going to do a main stairs hold. And I mean, considering where all the drones are right now, that's not going to be where the push happens. I mean, DWG KIA, they look like they're going to do a complete sweep from north to south. And if that's the case, there's not a lot of utility set up for it. They could rotate it, Des, but it'd be late.
And we already saw how you get punished for late rotates. Think back to Rin in round number 1 with a bit of a late rotate from the ADSs, putting them on main stairs from being on red, and then got shot from 90, almost as if it had been read into a little bit too intelligently by the side of Fav. But yes, there is this full main stairs setup, as you can see. Shin holding pretty tight on that one. Normally you see like a smoke holding on here, but with no smoke in the round, it's changed away instead to be the Wamai that's holding. They're able to deploy away more of those magnets as and when they get consumed. But as you alluded to, if we've got DWG starting to push from the north, are you going to have time to rotate all these gadgets? No way.
No. Oh no, because of the blue light, they thought that was a Magnum, but it's actually the edge of a Banshee, which you can't shoot with your weapon. You have to melee that one or explode it, my friend. And guess who's on red stairs without a single ADS? I don't think there's a single ADS there. Is there, medics? Can you confirm for me whether through voice or just through the camera? And there is no ADS there. So it's all on main stairs. He's going to have to rotate himself out. That's why he shot and dropped. And now they are going to nade it. Confirm that it is empty. Drone will come zooming down and be aware that he has rotated down somewhere, whether it's over to Piano, whether it's down all the way downstairs. But they've taken so much control. They need to be careful of the flank, and they need to be careful of really good C4s like that from number 2.
Straight out onto the window from inside of 90 as well. Not a bad C4 coming out, but we've been here before, Jess, who said, well, Fav are sat in a 5 versus 4. Surely they can't lose, only for Rin and Yas to collectively pull off a play that brings down 3 members on the other side. We'll give it time because they've got the staging set up here now. They need the attackers. They've got landing. They're starting to look towards 90 as well. There's a little bit of a tango, a very still and silent tango going on downstairs with Afro looking to lurk and maybe do some damage later on. If he can come swinging up red, the damage he could cause could be massive. He does try it, but at the same time, it's Shin just coming back up to trade onto Rin. So back and forth, and Afro was dealt with early, but control has been regained. A double kill for number 2. The first one being the C4. Now it's a 4 versus 2 for Damwon. A total flip to how this went previously.
That was a double flank, which is perfect because guess what? You need those trade opportunities, and they made it happen. FAV, even though they lost their initial player, they had someone there to back him on up. And as they attempted to try and get the refrag over towards landing main stairs, guess who was behind them in 90? I mean, unbelievable pressure that is being applied to Damwon KIA here by FAV. And when you think you've got one trade, when you think you're able to pinch someone, guess what? All of a sudden, FAV's behind you.
Oh, we've seen this before as well. Can they connect this C4? Yes or no? Because last time round it fell short, if you remember, at the table. Gonna have to try and throw it over now. K-Razor, it comes out, but it doesn't connect. What is it with these C4s not hitting today in the right spot? It's not going to come off, but Koti gets flanked from the bottom of 90 by K-Razor, who makes amends for that mid C4. Now it's all down to Katsang, the player who, as you said, hasn't had the best day, but is slowly redeeming himself, has got to do so in a 1 versus 3. Diffuser being down, about 20 seconds to play. The defenders looking for a flank up 90, right call. Katsang finding one, doesn't get pushed from the other side. Here comes one, finds a second. Is he going to do it, Jess? They know they've got to push him aggressively. He's going to have to run away or try and stick out the defuse here. He goes for the stick. The bait comes in. He's just holding on the corner. Shin, he's being teased. Jess, he's being played with. Katsang is playing with his food, and he has pulled off the redemption play to redeem all plays. He's going to get Damwon back into this. It's 5-5. Game on.
Woo! Baby! The 1v3 clutch. Yes, let it out. That is when you dance. That is when you cheer, because that play should not have happened. Obviously, there was a drone over towards 90. You saw the yellow pin come out. Boom. You get that initial kill. Pinch was wrong. When I praised FAV 30 seconds earlier for their pinch capacity, their pinch ability, I was very clear that they were applying pressure to Damwon KIA that Damwon KIA couldn't deal with. In that 1v3 scenario there, had the person pushed out of Aviator at the same time the player down 90 pushed, he doesn't win. But you give him 3 1v1s and Katsang's got it all.
He's just going to fly. And again, we look back at small moments earlier in the round that kind of cascade. It's definitely a thing in Siege. This kind of cascading of like outcomes of previous plays. The C4 being missed, for example. What a sting. They come for the flank. They manage to shut everything down and think, right, we've got this fine. We've taken control. Imagine if that plant had been denied in those final 10 to 15 seconds or so because of the C4. That would have led to Katsang having to be the guy that runs in, commits to the plant by himself, and probably gets shot out, and the round goes to 6-4. The game is balancing on a nice edge here. That's how close so many of these rounds are coming down to, or hero plays from individuals. I can't wait to see how the rest of this game goes. We are guaranteed at least, though, to get 12 rounds, Jess. Hopefully, we see overtime as well. It's been one hell of a game to start the day. I really want to see more.
Well, that mental tenacity here of Damwon KIA to not let that first half get to them and be able to sweep back round after round has been very impressive. A 1v3, that's definitely going on the replay later. Make sure you add it to the sheet there, Des. Pretty please, because I know production will be wanting to add that to the top 5 plays. I mean, I'm analyzing the game, man. You have more time than I do.
What the hell is this? All right, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, thank you. Nevertheless, I want to break down exactly what I think is going to happen on this site from FAV. And I'm looking at that Frost thinking they're possibly going to do a top floor hold, maybe slap a couple of those Frost mats on windows upstairs. That'll be the point of K-Razor, or do they do a turtle? I don't expect on a site like this with so much vertical opportunities that you don't do a top floor hold. That seems a little risky, and I'm glad that we've already got the replay ready to go, because this is the 1v3 we're talking about. There's the first 1v1. That's a bit of a freebie. Yellow ping comes out, confirms that for Katsang. Still got 75 HP to play with here. And then that pixel ping confirms exactly where the Malusi is. And at this point, the bait from Shin, whether or not you think it's right or wrong that he should have baited it 3 times, it doesn't matter. Katsang was behind 3 different walls. He had the opportunity to play the time, and he did so perfectly. That's why we got 5 rounds apiece. But now on to this 11th round. Damwon KIA's opportunity here to take the lead for the first time.
They always say there's no such thing as a clutch without a misplay from the other team. And in that case, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, I think, if you're in that position as FAV. It's like, sure, you can push up 90, but is the player peaking 90? Is he holding the landing angle? You don't know. You can't push him and guarantee that you both peak at exactly the same moment. And like you say, comments on the post plan can come through all day long if you really want to. In those kind of stressful situations, it can be really hard to decide what is the right call. When do I make this play? Do I risk getting shot if I do this right now? It's definitely the kind of epitome of stress, I think, in Siege. It's a good way to define a 1 versus 1 post plant where you know that time is ticking down. Let's head downstairs, though. We are back into dining your kitchen. The boys looking hungry to pull this up to round number 12. Whether or not it plays out in the favor of FAV or down one is anyone's guess. It has been neck and neck all game long. And I think, as you said earlier on, the momentum is definitely starting to swing back for down one. I really want to see Woogie get himself slightly involved in one of these games. And number 2, please stop landing all these C4 kills. It's 13-6 this game, Jess.
Unbelievable impact that he's had this game. In fact, I would want to say the sort of just almost exactly having that fragging impact that you said October last year. I think that's when you were really hyping him up, and now he's having the exact same impact here today, really propelling them into these rounds that they have been able to win. A little bit surprised by, not that there's an early pinch push here from Woogie Man, but he has decided to pinch over towards China, and they haven't really dealt with the roamers. That's his job as a Jackal, to try and spot out this vigil, try and dispatch of anyone who's causing a ruckus around the map, and that's Afro. He's been given free range of most of the southern side of the map. Woogieman hasn't dealt with him yet, but he seems to be close to being able to deal with him, and now, yes.
Is he going to get pinched here by the players holding out towards the library? I assume not. There are 1 or 2 others lurking around. It is Woogie. Okay, he's swinging around the long way. Fair play, trying to take the safe path. Don't want to just push your way down red and find yourself getting gatted out from somewhere like Memorial. So he's taking it carefully. But I think Afro knows here. They have the idea. He's been tracked out, so now he's going to have to turn tail and run, because Woogie is the hunter. And the prey in this case is Afro. Let's see how long he can hold out for. We keep on speaking about players wasting time, and I almost missed it, Jess. Look how much time is left. There's 20 seconds left in the goddamn round.
What has happened to the time? It has escaped us, and it's escaped the attackers here. And FAV, they've got a cruisy round to play with here. 4v5, 10 seconds left. You got to get down in now, boys. Otherwise, this round is not happening.
Where's the push? Where's the play, boys? It's got to happen right now. You've got to go. Woogie hits the deck. Rin almost going down. It's a second kill coming out for number 2 with a shotgun. A third for Shin. Where was that attack? What? I think they tried to really like push through pantry, but it just didn't quite come with any time. That was so weird. We were talking about this roam. I was like, oh, there's still 2 minutes left. The opening C4 kill, whatever. Oh, wait, goddamn, there's 20 seconds left. What?
I usually pay really good attention to the timer, especially in how long it takes them to get that opening kill or get that roam control, under control. I didn't realize it took them a whole two minutes more for them to even be able to spot out where Afro was. But hey, you know what? Sometimes that happens. Speaking of happening, look what's happened now. That's it. Down one Kia's opportunity to make top 4 is gone, because they are only going to be guaranteed either 1 or 2 points if they do make overtime, and that will require them winning this round exactly against FAV. Aviator Games don't have a particularly good outcome on this particular side statistically. Statistics have been thrown out the window in this game, so let's not refer to them again. This has been a shake-up of all shake-ups here, but I know for a fact that I can say very confidently Down Kia won't make the top 4. They won't make any types of playoffs, and as a result now it is to the other teams on the standings who will be looking to take those last remaining spots. But Down Kia now, they're just trying to get that very last win in and at least propel themselves into overtime.
Oh, it's rough. Very, very rough. I mean, you spoke about it, I think, a second ago. What was the head-to-head result between Down 1 and Talon, if you've got the stuff up in front of you?
How do you mean? In regards to which...
I'm trying to remember the game. Which map was it? Do you remember?
Oh, the last
that's the reason why Down 1 can't qualify. Even though they win in overtime and get 2 points, they'll be tied on points for 4th with Talon, but they lose the head-to-head. And I just can't remember the game they played.
Oh, you mean the head-to-head of them playing?
Oh,
yeah, so 7-4. Yeah, 7-4. Talon overcame Down One Kia. Yeah, 7-4.
I remember this
so
game.
That's why
they had a super rough later half of that game. They couldn't win the final 2 attacking rounds or any of the defensive as well. It did get kind of from bad to worse, from good to bad for them. Here we're kind of seeing the reverse, where it started out really rough and they've pulled things back. But FAV are pulling enough out of it. I think it had enough advantage early on to be in a spot where they are this 1 round away from victory. I get the sense, because it's on a more dare I say, normal or popular site in this case. It's probably going to be a more stable round for Damwon, and they could take something away, but they've got to deal with this clash.
Well, unfortunately, time was the huge detriment for them last round. Now they have to go up against the Clash, against a site that's difficult to get the wall open because you've got to get the mute jammers off the wall. Thatcher's banned. You're talking about domino effects here. Those domino effects in my head of how they even possibly open up site without main stairs control is very difficult. Guess who's on main stairs? It's Typon. There's a Banshee in front of him. They could absolutely deal with concussing him and shooting him on the legs, but it will take both. And they need to be careful he doesn't move up main stairs without it. There's the first. They miss out on a shot. Grenade gets rid of the Banshee, and as they move on up, they want this grenade to hit. It'll only hit the front of the shield, and everything they had to deal with him won't work. And oh no, ladies and gentlemen, OT, where?
Just simply not going to exist. Beautiful shutdown of the main stairs push, and they know Damwon that there is no coming back at this point. They knew it in the last round. They know it now for definite. They have just been masterclassed by FAV with a fantastic main stairs hold. And even with a minute and 10 left, Jess, the diffuser's cold, dead and steady. There's no angle for recovery here. I agree with you. Overtime is simply not going to be a thing.
Oh, yes, this is an opportunity for you to pad your stats now, brother. I don't think you're going to pull out the 1v4 that I thought Rin might have rounds ago. You could just walk out with a couple of kills, impact yourself. This is the very last Playday of the regular season, ladies and gentlemen. And for Damwon Kia, they came into this being a relegation team out of Challenger League. They did themselves proud. And for FAV, they have stolen right out of the hands of Damwon Kia any possibility of them making playoffs in any way, shape, or form. And those smiles, whilst bitter because FAV themselves also won't make top 4, it is a good indication for seasons and stages to come.
It is, and I think it's the same story for T1 when they play later on. It's a chance to show that Stage 1 has been a bit of a mess, but there is still a strong team behind the scenes. And speaking of strong teams, again, you're going to call me a shill for it, Jess. Number 2 has had a really poor season so far, and to come out today with a statement of, hey, here's a 15k being dropped on Villa for you, shows that player still exists. Just needs a bit of time to kind of get teased out here in 2021.
Well, that's exactly what FAV looks like when you just unleash the beast who doesn't have to care about standings or anything. That's exactly what is behind closed doors, and I hope they unleash that in future stages. But we got to throw it back to the analysts because unfortunately they have a few very, very bitter and sad words to say about Damwon Kia and their future in the playoffs.
Thanks so much, Jess and Bez. And unfortunately,